Yeah, in the yesterday's class, we have seen what is flow control in Python. In Python, the meaning of flow control is the if condition. We have seen how the if condition is written in Python. Then again, we started with the while loop because while loop statement also belongs to the control flow statements of Python. All loop statements, we have the while loop, we have the for loop, and so on. There are so many different types of loops available in Python, but the while loop is the one which is most popularly commonly used. And the syntax of the while loop is more or less similar to that we have seen in C programming language. We use the while keyword. It's written here when we want to use the while keyword, while statement in Python. We always start with a keyword called as while, followed by a condition. Condition should always result in a true or a false, then followed by a colon. Colon is important. This is the syntax of Python. And then in the next line, we write a block of code. And you all know that if you want a block of code, you have to write it one tab space inside, or two spaces inside, or one space inside. So that is how we write block of code. We write the body of the loop. So all the statements which is written one tab space inside after the loop, while loop, belongs to the while loop body, belongs to the body of the while loop. Okay, so we have seen that. Now yesterday I wrote a program here. I wrote a program. I'll just show that to you. It was in the D drive. So in the D drive there was one called as test_while.py. I will open this. I will open this with Sublime Text. Yeah, I think this is better. So yesterday I showed you one example where I had written only this much. I had not written x is equals to x plus 1. I had written only this much. X is equals to 0, and then while x is less than 10. If I don't increment the value of x, which Omkar yesterday told me that we have to increment the value of x, because finally it has to reach a condition where the condition here becomes false. If you don't increment the value of x, the value of x will always remain less than 10, and it will continuously keep executing this loop. So that will result in an infinite loop. I showed you that example yesterday. It kept on displaying hello world. It never reached this point here because this condition was never becoming false. This condition here was never becoming false, so that's why it kept on executing the body of the while loop. It kept on displaying hello world to me. But if you want the loop to stop, then you have to do something in the loop which will cause this condition to become false. So every time, let me increment the value of x. I will increment it by 1. I will increment it by 1. So what happens is, in the first iteration of the loop, the value of x will be 0 because it is initialized to 0. It will check with x. Is x less than 10? Yes, of course, x is less than 10 because it is 0. So it will, this condition is true. So it goes inside, executes this statement. So it will display hello world. It executes this statement, and then it displays hello world. And then at the same time, this is also part of the body of the loop. So this also will get executed, and the value of x will get incremented by 1. It was 0. With this statement, it becomes 1. So now the value of x becomes 1 because here you are incrementing the value of x. X is equals to x plus 1. X was 0. 0 plus 1 is 1, and 1 is stored into x. Now and again, it goes back to the start of the loop and checks the condition once again. Is x less than 10? Yes, x has become 1, but it is still less than 10. So the condition is true. If the condition is true, again, this statement will get executed. So it will display the value of, and what is this statement? It is a print statement. So print statement will display something. So it will display hello world. And then again, it will come to this statement because it is also part of the while loop. And then it increments the value of x by 1. The value of x right now is 1. It will increment it by 1. It will become 2. And the value of x now is 2. So again, it goes back and checks it. So like this, every time it will display hello world, and every time it will increment the value of x. At one time the value of x becomes 10. At one time the value of x becomes 10. It goes and checks, is x less than 10? X has become 10. Remember, incrementing after 9 it has become 10. And then now it will check, is this 10 less than 10? No, this condition is false. If x becomes 10, then 10 is not less than 10, so this condition becomes false, and that's the reason why it will come out of the loop. And once this condition becomes false, these two statements will not get executed. It will come out of the loop, and whatever is the next statement in the main program will get executed. So it will display finish, and then it will stop the program. Let us execute this program and see. So we go to the command prompt. I go to the D drive, and then in the D drive, I execute the program. How to execute the program? I write Python Python space, what is the name of the file? It is test while. Sorry, yes, it is test underscore test while. Okay, you can see that it executes hello world how many times? 10 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and then it will finally display finish, and then it will stop. Okay, so this is how the while loop works. What you have to understand here is that the while loop always starts with the keyword while followed by a condition. This is the condition, x is less than 10. Then there is a colon, and then after that, this is the body of the loop. This is the body of the loop. How do we identify the body of the loop? Because it is always written one tab space inside. If I don't write this tab space here, it means that this print and x is equals to x plus 1 is not part of the while loop. It is part of the main program because it is starting from the first line. Okay, so that's why it is important that you always give spaces here to indicate this is that. Can somebody tell me what will happen if I do this? Can you just imagine? If I write this print finish also in the body of the loop, what will happen is in every iteration of the loop, it will display hello world also. And since print finish is also part of the while loop because it is written one tab space inside, it will even display finish here. So if I say file, save, let me see what is the output of this program. So this is the output. Hello world, finish, hello world, finish, hello world, finish. Now since print finish is also part of the while loop, it is executing even this in the body of the loop. So every time, 10 times, this will get executed. So I just write it outside, now this becomes part of the main program. So if I save this program, file, save, and then I go here, I execute, and then you see it executes only hello world printing, and then it increments. Now finally only once it will display finish because it is in the main program, it is not part of the while loop. I hope this is clear. This is how the while statement actually works, the while loop works. Now let me write some more programs. Okay, using the while loop, let me write some more programs so that you become comfortable with it. This is a very simple program. If at all, let us say I want to display, I want to write a program using the while loop to display all the even numbers. I want to display all the even numbers between 0 to 100. I want to display all the even numbers between 0 to 100. So in that case, what I do is I initialize x to 0, and then I write while x is less than. Okay, what is this program that we are writing? We are writing a program to display all the even numbers between 0 to 100. Okay, so I initialize x to 0, and then while x is less than 100, put a colon, and then write something here. What do I write? You want to display the numbers between, so I write print x. I do, okay, print x. What is the value of x in the first iteration? It is 0. So 0 is an even number, so it displays that. Okay, it displays that. And then after that, what I need to do is I will increment the value of x by 2, because you know that all even numbers increment by 2 starting from 0. If I start from 0, if I add 2 to it, so 0 plus 2 is 2. So the next number that x will have is 2. So it will display the value of x here. And then it will keep doing this till the value of x is not, till the value of x is less than 100. The moment it becomes 100, it will stop the program. Okay, so that's it. This is my simple program. So if I save this file, if I save this, okay, so there was a question. I will solve that question now. Omkar has asked a question. So now while x is less than 100, I print the value of x, and then x is equals to x plus 2. What I want to do, basically, I want to display all the even numbers between 0 to 100. Okay, so let me see what will be the output of this program. So file, save, I'll clear the screen first, and then I execute the program. So you can see that starting from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, these are all even numbers, but it has gone up till 98. It has gone up till 98. Even 100 is an even number. I told you that I want you to display me all the even numbers between 0 to 100. So that is what Omkar was referring to. He said that the while loop should be while x is less than 101. It should be less than 101. If you go up till 101, then even 100 will be included in your display. So if I save this file, save, and then if I go here, I will execute this program. So now you can see that it has displayed me up till 100. Okay, even 100 it has included. So starting from 0 till 100, it has displayed me all the values. Very simple program. So this is the program to display all the even numbers. So I start x is equals to 0. I check till x is not equal to or more than 101. Please keep doing this. So check first iteration. What is x? X is 0. Is it less than 101? Yes, it is less than 101. Go inside, display the value of x. So first x is 0, so it will display 0. Then it will increment the value of x by 2. X is equals to x plus 2. X was 0. Now it becomes 2. Go back and check. X is 2. Remember. Now check. Is x less than 101? X is 2. 2 is less than 101? Yes, it is. So go inside the body of the loop because the condition is true, and then execute the body of the loop. What it does, print x. What is the value of x right now? 2. So it displays 2. So after 0, it displays 2. Then increment the value of x again. It will become 4. So on till it becomes 100. And then finally it will stop the loop the moment it becomes 100. It becomes equals to 101. Simple program. Now what is that I have to do? This is the program to display all the even numbers starting from 0 to 4 like this. If I want to display all the odd numbers, I simply have to initialize x to 1. That's it. I simply have to initialize x to 1. Now this is the program to display all the odd numbers between 0 to 100. So I initialize x to 1. That's it, because I want the x to start from 1. So check, is x less than 101? X is 1 right now. It is less than 101. Yes, this is true. So it goes inside, displays the value of x. What is the value of x? It is 1. So it will display 1. Then it will increment x by 2. Okay, x is 1 plus 2. It will make it 3. X is 1 plus 2. It will become 3. So x is 3 right now. Goes back and checks x is still less than 101. Displays the value of x 3 incremented by 2. So now it becomes 3 plus 2 5. X becomes 5 and so on. Let us save this program and execute this. Clear the screen. So you can see that it displays me all the odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. These are all odd numbers. Okay, till 99. Till 99 it comes. Okay, so we have written programs to display all the even numbers between 0 to 100 and all the odd numbers between 0 to 100. So you can use the while loop to do a lot of things. You can use the while loop to do a lot of things. Let us write some more programs. Okay, let us write some more programs using the while loop. Let us read some input from the user and then use the while loop for that, and then finally stop. Okay, let us see how to do this program. What basically I want to do is I want to read multiple numbers from the user. Okay, I want to read numbers. Okay, I will ask the user to enter a number, so the user will enter 6. Okay, then I will ask the user to enter another number, so I will enter 8. Then I will ask the user to enter another number. I will enter 36. So like that, I want to continuously keep reading a lot of numbers from the user. Okay, let us say 10 numbers from the user. I want to read 10 numbers. Let us start with 5 only. Let us read 5 numbers from the user and then find the average of those numbers. Find the sum of those numbers and the average of those numbers. So you understood? What I want to do is I want to read 5 numbers from the user and I want to find the average and sum of all those numbers. Let us see how to do that. So while x is less than 5, because I want to read it 5 times, and then I will print please enter a number. Okay, and then after this immediately I want to read something. So how do we read? I read it into a variable called as n. I write n is equals to input. N is equals to input. Okay, so I read the number. I read the number. So whatever, you know, the input function is used for reading something from the user. Okay, is used for reading something from the user. But you know that the input function, whenever I read something from the, it reads it as a string. So I have to convert that into a integer. So I write int of input. Let us see if this works. Okay, so what does input do? Input will read something from the keyboard, but whatever you enter will be read as a string. So if I enter, let us say 36 in double quotes, 36 in double quotes or single quote will be a string, and string as 36 as string will be saved into n, but I want to convert that into an integer. I want to find the sum of that. So that's why I want to convert that into an integer. So this is what I do. I convert that into an integer like this, int input. Okay, fine. So I read the number. Now what I want to do is I want to add that number to a variable called as sum. Sum is equals to sum plus n. I want to do sum is equals to sum plus n. So I want to initialize this variable sum also to 0. Okay, and then finally avg is another variable that I want to initialize it to 0. Okay, sum one and average one. Okay, why did I name it like that is because there may be a keyword called as avg in Python, so I don't want to get confused with that, so I write it avg1. Okay, so there are two variables, sum one and avg1, which are initialized to 0 initially, and then sum is equals to sum plus n. So whatever I read, add it to sum and put it into this variable sum. Okay, so this while loop here does two things. It will read the number from the user and it will add it to sum. It will keep adding it to sum. Okay, finally I want to calculate the average. So I do avg average is equals to sum divided by 5, because I know there are 5 numbers. So what is average? Average is equals to sum divided by 5. Okay, sum is the sum of all the numbers that would have happened in the loop. I keep adding n to sum, whatever is being read from the user, I'm adding it to sum and keeping it into the same variable. So sum finally is a sum of all the numbers, and then I find the average. How do I find the average? I do sum divided by 5, because there are 5 numbers, and then finally I want to print this. So I write print sum of the numbers is sum. Print average of the numbers is avg, average, sorry, sum 1 and average 1, and here also it should be sum 1, and this also should be sum 1, and this should be average 1. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So file, save. I saved the program. Hopefully I think everything is fine here. I've initialized this. Of course, I need to do one more thing. I need to increment the value of x, otherwise it will never become more than 5. So x is equals to x plus 1 is important here. I have to keep incrementing the value of x, otherwise x will always remain 0, and continuously it will be reading the numbers. It will go in an infinite loop. X will never become more than 5, so it will never stop the loop. Okay, so I think this was required. X is equals to x plus 1. In the body of the loop it was required. Okay, fine, then I think everything is fine. So I'll save this file, save. Okay, I'll clear the screen first and then execute this python test while.py, enter. So it will say, it is asking me, please enter a number. So first number that I will enter is 10. Second number is 20. Let us make it simple, 20. Third number is 30. Fourth number is 40. Fifth number is 50. Okay, it read all the numbers, but finally it gave an error here. It said that in this statement, it's saying that there is an error in line number 12. What is that error? It is in this line, print sum of the numbers is plus sum I've written. Type error must be str not int. What is happening here is I'm trying to, why do we use the plus symbol? You all know. If the plus symbol is used for either adding, if there are two integers, and if there are two strings, then it will get concatenated. You know that. Okay, so this from here to here is a string. It is in double quote, so it is string, you know. And I'm trying to concatenate that with sum. And sum is what? Sum is an integer. So I cannot concatenate, or I cannot add a string with an integer. So what do I need to do? I need to convert this into a string. So how to convert that into a string? I simply write str and then I write sum. So str function will convert this sum integer into a string. Now this has become a string. This is also a string, and there should not be any problems. Similarly, even this average also. Even that average also has to be converted to string, and then all that. So file, save. I go back to the program. I clear the screen and then execute the program. So it is asking me to enter the number. I say 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 50. And then you can see that the sum of the numbers is 150. If you add this up, it will be 150. And the average of the numbers is 30. The average of the numbers is 30, because 150 divided by 5 is 30. The average is 30. Simple program. What did we do in this program? We declared some initial variables because we wanted to store the sum, we want to store the average, and then one variable to loop. So we declared them, and then we started the loop while x is less than 5. And then we printed a message to the user. Please enter the number. Every time in the body, I want to display a message. So that's why you saw that every time it was displaying me, please enter a number, then I was entering the number. Please enter the number, I was entering the number. please enter the number. I was entering the number like that. So this was getting executed every time. And then I was entering the number. So how was I entering the number? Like this, input, and I was converting that into an integer and putting it into n, and then n I was taking and putting it into sum and keeping it there. So I was accumulating the sum in sum1 variable. Increment the value of x because I want to end the loop, and then I found what is the average of this, and then I displayed the value of sum and average. Very, very simple program, very, very simple. So you can see this is the program and this is the output. So using the while loop, you can write a lot of programs. You can write a lot of programs using the while loop, displaying the even numbers, odd numbers, reading multiple numbers. I want to do a small change to the program. I don't want to exactly read. I don't want to exactly read 5 numbers. Okay. Now this program, what it is doing, it is reading exactly 5 numbers, but I don't want to do that. I want to read any number of numbers, 3, 4, 5, 10, and find the average of those numbers. And I want to give the option to the user to stop entering the numbers. How to give it? What I say is I tell the user to keep entering. I tell the user to keep entering the numbers and then stop. And then if you want to stop entering the numbers, please enter -1 as the input. Please enter -1 as the input. So it is something like this. Okay, if I execute the program, I will be entering first, let us say 12, then I will be entering, let us say, no, not here. Let us say I want to execute the program like this. Okay, first of all, the output of the program should be like this. Please enter numbers, like this. It should come first. Then after that, okay, I should be able to enter the number. Let us say I enter 12. Next, after that, I enter 24, then 67, then 43, then 12 again, then 67, like this. I keep entering. And the moment I enter -1, and enter, it should stop reading. So the above numbers should be considered as the entered numbers. Then for these numbers, it should find the sum of all the numbers and the average of those numbers. I hope you understood what program I'm planning to write. I'm planning to write a program to read variable number of numbers, not fixed, not exactly 5 all the time, variable numbers. First I enter 12, then 24, then 67, 43, and if I want to stop entering, then I enter -1. -1 indicates that I have to stop. Okay, so this is the output that I need. So how do I do that? Let this be there. Now what I do first is I print a message. Okay, I print a message to the user. Please enter the numbers, and this is outside the loop, so this will get executed only once. Okay, fine. And then here, while x is not equals to -1, while x is not equals to -1. Okay, just have a look at this. Just first pay attention and then you will understand. It is easy. While x is not equals to, not x, while n is not equals to, because I'm reading n from the user. Okay, whatever I'm reading n. So I initialize n also to 0. While n is not equals to 1, keep doing this. Okay, so I don't want that. I don't want to display the message again and again. So read n, add n to sum, and increment the value of x. X, I will rename it to count, CNT. So whatever was x, I name it to count, because I want to count how many numbers the user has entered. So that's why I keep a count, because I want to find the average. No, so I should know how many numbers are there. So whatever number the user is entering, that I take, I first add it to sum, and then I'm accumulating the sum into the variable sum1. And then I also want to increment the value of count, because finally how many numbers the user has entered, now it is not fixed. It is not always 5 like in the first example. Here the number can be variable. The user may enter only 5 numbers, the user may enter 10 numbers, the user may enter 20 numbers, or the user may enter only 3 numbers. So I want to know how many numbers the user has entered. So that's why I take a variable called as count, CNT, and then I keep incrementing it in the loop to know how many numbers the user has entered. That number the user will enter will get summed up, and it will be stored into the variable sum. But how many numbers altogether will come into count. After that, average 1 is equals to sum divided by count, not 5. not 5. Before it was 5 fixed, no, but now you don't know how many numbers, and that count is coming in this variable count. So that's why this is sum divided by count. And then finally it will display the sum of the numbers, and then all that. Okay, please enter the numbers. Enter, I will just change this. Please enter the numbers and enter -1 to stop. Okay, so some message so file, save the program. Now let us see how to execute this. So I clear the screen and then I execute this. So I write Python test. So it displays me a message. Please enter the numbers. Enter -1 to stop. Okay, so first I will enter 10, then I will enter 20, then 30, then 40, 50, 60, 70, and keep entering. So it keeps taking it, Okay. If I want to stop, I have to enter -1, enter. So I entered -1 and then enter. So it stopped taking, and then it calculated the sum of the numbers. It took the sum of the numbers, and then it calculated the average of those numbers. It calculated the average. But why is this happening? Why it is 279? Why is it not a round figure? Because I think it even considered -1 as the input. Okay, it even considered -1 as the input. So it considered even -1 as the input, and then it added that to the sum. Actually, if you add up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, the sum is 280. But it also considered -1 as the input, and it added even that to 280. 280 -1 is 279. That's why it is coming. So it considered even -1. Okay, so it even considered -1 as the input. But if you want to avoid that, what do we do? This is only a patch up work. Okay, so you can say someone, yeah, there is somebody in the chat here, -1. N-1 will probably not work. Okay, what I have to do, someone is equals to someone plus 1. Okay, so I think this is only sorry, this will then happen every time in the loop. I don't want that to happen every time in the loop. I want to happen only once. So because I know after the end of this loop, -1 is also getting added to the sum, so I add 1 to it to compensate. So file, save. Now if I run the program, Python, okay, first 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and -1. Now it is correct. So sum of the numbers is 280, and the average of the numbers is 35 divided by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 280 divided by 7 is 35. That is correct. Okay, so I hope you understood what is this program. I'm reading n, and I'm doing this entire thing while n is not equals to -1. The moment I enter -1, it should stop the loop. It should stop taking the numbers from the user, and then it should calculate the sum and then average and then display it. Okay, so I hope this is clear, all of you. Okay, I can write a lot of examples for you people using the while loop. A lot of programs I can write using the while loop. I have to go further. We are still in the first module. There are only 8 hours given for the first module. We have already, this is today I think is already 7th class. Today I think is already the 7th class. Yeah, I think today is the 7th class, and we are still not even halfway through of the module. Okay, so I just wanted to start slow so that you people should understand the concept of programming, logic understanding, keep it as simple as possible, so that you people should not get scared of coding. You should not get scared of coding. Python is a very simple programming language. We don't have flower brackets, we don't have semicolons, nothing. If you want to write anything in the body of the while loop, just write it one tab space inside all of them. Okay, and then whatever comes outside the loop should be written in the first line, which becomes these two statements part of the main program. Okay, I hope you understood the syntax of Python. First, be comfortable with the syntax of Python, and then you can slowly start writing some simple programs to learn the logic of the program. Okay, so I think we will stop here. 7 minutes are remaining. Is there anything that you people wanted to ask? I will do one thing. Wait, I will just unmute everybody. Uh, yeah, if there is something you people wanted to ask, and then I was telling all these days that I will have some 5 minutes kept only for the question and answers. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. If you have noted down any of the doubts that you had in this subject, okay, you can ask me that. Okay, no problem. If there is no problem, then I think that is okay. And then just there is one message that I wanted to give to. I'll stop the recording.